Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan James, and I'd like to thank you for your time for allowing me to discuss the implementation and benefits of my new idea called the DWS, or the Daily Workload Sheets. So, first of all, what is the DWS? Well, the DWS, as stated, is what I'm calling the Daily Workload Sheet. It is simply a form for associates to fill out. That would allow communications between the different block shift of night crew and day crew to be able to communicate more effectively and smooth out workflows overall, and in the end, try to increase productivities for both ship and thus the store entirely. So here's an example of what an DWF sheet would look like. As we can see, it's basically just a spreadsheet that you could pull up from Excel or any other similar app. It is incredibly simple, it's very easy to read, very easy to follow, and because it is basically just a spreadsheet, it is incredibly easy to integrate into, let's say, an app that you could pull up on the first phone and use on a daily basis. So let's look at some data on these workload sheets that we've seen in other companies that are trying to use this similar data. So here we can see a graph where on the y-axis you see the number of items processed per hour for that store, and all data before the date of November 2019 was before the implementation of these data sheets, and all data past November 29th or November 2019 would be all dates after the implementation of these. As you can clearly see just by looking at this simple bar graph that there is a slight increase in overall productivity after the sheets have been implemented. And like I said, as we've seen, because of this, we see about actually a 15% average increase over the entire year that it was graphed and data was collected after the sheets were implemented, which is pretty significant. So what exactly would the implementation of this DWS would be into the standard operating procedures for all associates? Well, because it's an incredibly simple form, should be really easy to implement into normal operating procedures. Because all associates' jobs function around the use of the first phone and all apps within the first phone, implementation really should just be as seamless as just adding an app to where these sheets are stored and tracked automatically, and associates would just fill out what it is. Would just be fill out all data that needs to be in the sheet, and anyone who has a first phone can access it and read what they need to do. And also, because all these forms being app-based, it will also eliminate hurdles with the physical forms being lost or destroyed or being filled out incorrectly, or the date being wrong, which we've seen in the past with things like bear tags when we would used to fill them out by hand, which is why we switched to using an app form to eliminate that problem entirely. So projected benefits of the implementation of the DWS. Well, let's go back and look at that chart where, according to the data shown earlier, we saw an average of around 15% of all items processed per hour, which doesn't seem like that much, but we know that benefits to these items being processed should, at least in somewhat proportionally, or at least be positively correlated with all productivity of the store in general. And we know that if we do that, then we'll have more items in the store being stocked, and the store will look more in stock, which we know correlates to more profit because more people will buy things. And because of this implementation, you also inadvertently help a lot of these communication hurdles when dealing with these two block shifts that just naturally occur just because of how the shifts are arranged, and that will naturally develop as more people work at the store longer, because you get into grooves of just doing whatever you would need to do and kind of just, not really paying attention to the other block and what they're doing. So let's just review a little bit of the DWS implementation and benefits. So we've shown what exactly the DWS is and what its goals are and the benefits for the store and all of its associates. We've seen how simple this is to follow and fill out in implementation into the standard operating procedures. We've also shown data of previous implementations of similar forms for companies and the benefits that it's had for them. And finally, we've shown how seamless the DWS should be to integrate into the normal workflows as well as standard operating procedures, because we can just make it be app-based. And finally, it cures many of the communication issues that we know and have seen in the past to cause drastic problems and just completely halting workflows for entire nights in a lot of situations. So anyway, again, my name is Dylan James, and I'd like to thank you for your time, and Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.